The Chaos Dwarfs are definitely in the factions I would rank lower currently in the game. They're definitely not terrible and have some pretty good units overall, but require some kind of finesse, I would say, in many respects. That said, let's take a look at this build here versus the Ogres. And of course, being versus the Ogres, that does mean we're going to see a distinct lack of trains here. We do instead have some Bull Centaur renders who, in the age of monstrous elite cavalry, they definitely exist. They check the box. They're not the best by any means, but they're here, along with their Bull Centaur leader. We've got some Skirmish Cav here, the Hobgoblin Wolf Riders. This replay from Sir Tarquin via Discord, Sorcerer Prophet of Hashut, and some Chaos Dwarf Warriors backed up by Orc Laborers for some kind of AP chaff. Sort of. They're not necessarily in like forward traditional chaff position like these Noblars and Pigbacks are. Pigbacks out on the flank, Noblars to kind of pad out the numbers here. You've got a couple of Bulls, a couple of ranked up Lead Belchers, Eshin Maneater, and a Slaughtermaster of Heavens. Very cool pick. Saber Tusk pack and Blood Vultures, plus, yeah, that Thunder Tusk already YOLOing up and smashing some of those Chaos Dwarf Warriors. The Bull Centaurs here come in, help collapse some of these Pigbacks alongside the Sorcerer Prophet Hashut here. And let's watch his magic as he tries to potentially unload. I'm going to keep it close and kind of keep the unit bases up so that we can see what's going on here in this fight in the trees. Looks like we're going to see some Flames of Asgore, I believe is the name of the spell. Nope, decides to nope out of that and do a breath attack instead. Does some pretty good damage into those piggyback knights. Meanwhile, the Wolf Raider cavalry here just staying close. Hobgoblins doing some nice skirmishing with their flaming bows. But here comes the Flame of Asgore. That is going to just properly wreck the pigback knights. You saw that little bolt in response there. Definitely a much lower powered spell. And yeah, that's one way to take out the piggyback knights there. Regiment Renown just gets absolutely wrecked. Meanwhile, Bull Centaur's just kind of caught up here. Was dueling the Eshin Maneater a little bit there, but I don't know, actually. Let's have a think about this stat comparison. Currently hard to say, because he is marked for eaten by the Eshin Maneater, which I guess is part of the equation, right, to be honest. But the Eshin Maneater currently being zoned out by the Bull Centaurs, not able to get to him. If they were able to, Maneater's got a pretty good shot at winning. It's basically a toss-up, I think, between these two. Although that bonus versus large, yeah, 30, maybe not. Maybe the Bull Centaur's got a pretty good advantage still. Single entity combat it would be a little weird sometimes, but all that support just getting evaporated by the Bull Centaurs in the woods. Let's get a little bit of cinematics. Have mostly stayed in tactical cam this whole time. But if we get from the Eshin Maneater's point of view, absolutely terrifying. Bull Centaurs and Ogres smashing their brutal bodies into blows. I don't know. We're trying here today, guys. The Chaos Dwarf Warriors are also kind of here. Not doing a whole lot right now, but Eshin Maneater gets pretty hard beat down. And it's looking pretty good for the Ogres, at least in the woods engagement. Everywhere else it's gone very poorly as the Lead Belchers just absolutely blast anything out in the open, and that's one of the reasons why I guess the Chaos Dwarfs are choosing to take this engagement in the woods, even though both sides are suffering debuffs. They're large troops, which definitely is affecting, yeah, definitely affecting both sides to a degree. But just in terms of value here, Chaos Dwarfs were able to overload, and with that magic, smash up the support infantry, and just kind of sweep that flank. Bull Centaurs continuing to ride through. That Lore of Heavens doing some, but yeah, the damage, unfortunately, hasn't been super impressive so far. I mean, that Thunderbolt is okay, and Curse of the Midnight Wind also decent, but yeah, the Bull Centaurs they're pretty tough units. I mean, Lord of Heaven's options aren't necessarily great against them, and it definitely would have been better to have a more meta Lore of Magic, right? Must be said. But still, I do appreciate at least having it. We're going to see another Flames of Asgore unleashed here. You can see it actually does fell the Ogres caught up in it. Rains down also on some of these Noblars, routes them off. Maybe even hit that Thunder Tusk a little bit, or the damage might have just been done by the Bull Centaur and the Sorcerer Prophet in melee. Yeah, up on his, what is it? Forget the name. Honestly, it's been so long since I played Chaos Dwarfs myself. But, yeah, this thing here. Unfortunately for the Lead Belchers, they have done quite a bit of work. Got some decent values so far, but they're not the best at anti-large. So taking down something like the Sorcerer Prophet, he's taking a decent chunk there. They had some way of like netting him down, preventing them from charging him in melee. Definitely they could maybe get it done over time, but certainly not right now when he can just fly in there with speed and slay a few of them and then tear out them away. And then as for the rest, yeah, we can see some regrouping Wolf Raiders here. Yeah, the Sorcerer Prophet maybe gets surrounded by bulls and takes a little bit of damage here. Oglacon's Wolf Boys making a valiant charge and surprisingly hanging in there along with this Chaos Dwarf Warrior Infantry. Their leadership definitely proving pretty solid, even holding to the army losses, so there you go. Nice victory. Train free, actually, for the Chaos Dwarfs for Sir Tarquin there. And it's definitely an interesting one for sure. I mean, pick for the Lore of Heavens is obviously non-meta, and it would have been quite a bit closer had they been able to heal that Thunder Tusk with Lore of the Great Maw. But, yeah, as for the Sorcerer Prophet, just a really nice generic lord up on the Taurus. Bull Taurus is the big one. Bale Taurus is the little one. I think that's right. Anyway, the Toruk also, decent value, pays for himself. Nice just hunting whatever he needs to. Definitely has some great utility here, and taking down, like here, he's able to outduel the Eshin Maneater, although, to be fair, the Eshin Maneater also kind of gets beat by the Bull Centaurs, who definitely pay for themselves as well. Yeah, the Orc Laborers, interesting support. I don't know if they're necessarily better than the regular Laborers, but I guess they do have a little bit better mass, I guess, is maybe why you take them here. And the AP is nice if, you know, they do get any hits in. And the Wolf Raiders, honestly, they're kind of like checking the box of Skirmish Cavalry that exists. But they're here, and tactically they'll do what Skirmish Cavalry needs to. Here, I think the Ogre player maybe could have been a little bit more aggressive in trying to rush them with the Blood Vultures, perhaps. I don't know. Blood Vultures didn't really get a lot of value in assisting in that forest fight there. And it was just tough, you know, with the Pigback Riders facing so much AoE damage. I would have to do some testing. I don't know, but I know with certain bombardment spells like Searing Doom, they're very effective against cavalry units because the cavalry don't get knocked over, so they'll actually take multiple hits, you know, successively. I haven't really tested with Pigbacks to see if they take a similar amount of damage, and Flames of Asgore is a little bit, I mean, it is kind of a bombardment, I guess, technically, so maybe the same would apply there because they don't get knocked over. Maybe they get hit multiple times successively rather than getting thrown to the ground and not getting hit. Again, I don't know. Maybe I can do some testing when I have some time. Got some things coming up that I'm actually pre-recording this for. I'm not currently at home when you're watching this, but in January I definitely have some plans, and that's maybe something I could do. Let's test out Pigbacks, or maybe one of you out there can do it for me. But anyway, yeah, very fun battle, very fun builds on both sides. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.